for you guys. We like to, like I said, we like to start it off a little bit more interesting, I think, than most, and get to know you guys instead of just the project that you're behind a little bit. So, first thing I got, we're gonna go through our 10 rapid fire questions. First thing I got for both of you: do you prefer classical or rock music?
For me, rock music.
Mhm. That's a great question. I mean, honestly, I would say a combination of both. Not too extreme. I like classical and rock music, so that's a tough one for me.
Just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. And this one I thought was kind of funny: miners or validator nodes?
Oh, miners for me.
Same here.
I was getting ready for one of you guys to say validator nodes and just to end the call. I was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, not for us.
Perfect. I think most people are with you guys. A night out or a night in?
A night in for me.
Same here.
Really, everybody here is a little
Yeah.
bit more okay with staying in. I like it. I like it. I think most people here are on the same page.
Yeah, I'm an introvert at heart, and I get energy from, just being in, reading a book, or watching a good documentary.
Awesome. Awesome. Movie or TV show?
Ooh.
I'll go for TV show.
Yeah,
TV
I
show?
think TV show as well. Yeah, because you've got something to look forward to. It's a lot more entertaining than a movie. It's like longer sort of entertainment. So I'll go for a TV show as well.
Mm-hmm. I think the way that we actually talked about this while I was writing the questions, and it's kind of like I feel like I get so much more attached to TV shows than I would to a movie. A movie can kind of yeah, I relate a lot more to characters in TV shows, so I'm totally with you there.
Exactly.
Movie is an hour and a half, and then you're done. You forget about it.
Exactly. Until 2 years later, there's a sequel or something.
Right,
I feel you. Summer or winter?
Summer for me all day.
Winter for me. I can't stand the heat.
Gotcha.
I love
Gotcha.
swimming, so
Are you guys?
I love anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, are you guys from like a colder or warmer place?
We get 4 seasons. We're in Northern Virginia, so we get a hot summer, a cold winter, a nice fall, and a spring as well. So we get all 4
Gotcha.
seasons.
Gotcha. Okay.
What about
Okay.
you, Chris?
I'm initially from California, so we only had, and SoCal at that, so we only had summer and then a slightly cooler summer. But now I'm in Texas, so we have a little bit of everything. Summers are definitely warm, and the winters aren't nearly as bad as I'm sure in Northern Virginia.
Right, for sure.
Sweet or salty?
Salty for me.
Yeah, same for me.
Really? Okay, fair enough. Cats or dogs?
Dogs all day.
Okay,
Yep, not
perfect.
much of a cat person.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. We had a couple people say cats, which surprises me a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Street smarts or book smarts?
I will have to go with street smart. Yep, a lot more efficient than book smart. Book smart to me is just memorization. You're just doing it because you want to pass a test. But street smart is actually like real intelligence, in my opinion.
Interesting. An interesting way to look at it. Gotcha. Okay. If you had a power and you had to pick between the ability to breathe underwater or see in the dark like it was day, which would it be?
Breathe underwater, I would say.
Same for me. Yeah, I can buy some night vision goggles and see in the dark. Can't do it underwater.
That's awesome. That's great. Most people chose breathing underwater, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then something kind of unrelated. If you had to choose, both of you, if you had to choose a different profession unrelated to crypto, what would it be?
Unrelated to crypto, gosh, that's a tough one.
Not taking into account income or anything like that.
For me, systems engineering, computer work, which I already do. So
I was about to say it's very similar, right?
Yep.
I would say something more along the lines of like a social worker or, helping children in foster homes. or things like that, I would say.
Gotcha. That's really cool. That's really cool.
But you have the voice to read kids' books, Zara.
I know, Ali. Yeah, one of our MVPs, Ali, has mentioned that to me multiple times, so maybe I should consider that.
switching professions. Not just yet. At least wait for launch. Come on now.
Right.
All right. Perfect. Well, let's get started then. Let's hear the quick introductions, and then we'll take our deep dive into what you guys are doing. I know there's a lot to discuss and a lot of stuff coming up, so let's hear it. Who are you guys? What have you guys been doing in the past? And then we'll get into your project afterwards.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much for that, Chris. Just a brief introduction for those of you that don't know me. My name is Zara. I'm the founder of Ace Miners NFT. I've been a crypto miner for the last 3 years. And I've really, found my passion and interest in this field. I actually started a small company to be able to assist customers in expanding their farms. So it's called Ace Miners Pro, which we sell ASICs, and we also help expand farms. I've been in this space for, like I said, 3 years. I started just from the comfort of my home, just mining from my balcony in a 1-bedroom apartment. Then I took my profits and reinvested them into more miners, and I really liked the concept of mining. So I got so deep into it, and wanted to be able to offer this to other members and people who don't have access to mining. Just from residential energy, which costs a lot. Wanted to be able to offer them something in exchange for that. So an NFT grants them ownership of hash rate power, which converts to rewards. And so AJ has been working with me, as well as our project manager, Sarah, who might be listening in. She's been, really wonderful in helping us build everything and keeping the community together.
Awesome. I love it. And then how about for you, AJ?
So I've been I come from the IT field. I've been in systems engineering and network engineering for about 15 years now. Not recently, started in crypto mining about 3 years ago, around the same time as Zara did. And since the day I started, I got hooked. I love the fact that you can mine different coins and actually be able to cash those coins out anytime you want. So, and I started, like Zara said, I was offered an L3 plus back in the day by Zara, which I also ran about 10 of them in my shed at one point. So that was fun. So I love how fun it is. It can get really fun.
Yeah, and I remember listening into Austin's AMA and hearing about some of the issues that people have when they initially start, thinking they can do it at home and run into those problems, whether it be extremely hot or extremely loud.
Yep. Yeah. Issues. I've had customers that run into issues on a daily basis with the heat, especially now in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
In many places, it's over 100 degrees, so they have to shut them off during the day. It gets way too hot.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then running it in your house is almost worse because then you're just sweating all day, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Awesome. And then let's slowly, unless you guys have something to add to your own story, let's get into Ace Miners. What motivated both of you to start up Ace Miners outside of just mining on your own, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, initially, what helped me come up with this concept is the fact that a lot of my customers were interested in having their miners hosted. And so we did offer them the option to host with us. And then I started to just think about, like, how can I reach more people? And that's what made me think of tying that to an NFT and giving them ownership of hash rate power as opposed to like a percentage or anything like that. So this makes it a utility token essentially. And so by reaching the world, we're able to offer pretty much everyone, regardless of their geographic location, this NFT, and they can hold on to it, a digital asset in their wallet, and just by holding on to that, they can be granted access to the mining farm. So that's kind of how it started, just because I was getting a ton of inquiries about hosting, and we were kind of close to our maximum capacity, and I thought, well, this would be a good way to introduce more people to mining because there aren't a lot of miners out there. It's a small percentage. And also, there are some people in certain countries that are not able to mine where it's illegal. So, wanted to reach people that are in China or Algeria, Egypt, certain countries where it's banned. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, well, let me just kind of combine the two, and having access to a digital asset that grants you rewards would be a great way to earn passive rewards.
Yeah. I mean, it's super important, and it is tough to navigate the space with all the regulation that seems to be, 50 years behind at the same time trying to address all of the current issues. So I completely understand a lot of the issues that are, other people in other countries are dealing with. And it seems like every day it seems like we might be facing some random issue of our own here in the States. So I
That's
totally
true.
understand.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's really great. So, why don't we start getting into like the deeper aspects of Ace Miners and what you guys have done? Because I know you guys didn't originally start as an NFT and like a complete NFT project. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Hmm.
um,
Yep.
yeah. So, how did you guys start, and what has that evolved into?
Yeah, so we started just with the small business of selling ASICs. So initially, when I first started, I was always in the whole e-commerce industry, and what I did is I grew my clientele by being able to offer them really reasonable rates on ASICs, which were much lower than the market prices.
Mhm.
And so, little by little, that gradually got to a point where I built my clientele that wanted to expand their farm. So, these customers actually were just started, from the comfort of their home as well. They just had maybe one or two miners in their basement or in a spare bedroom. And then eventually they wanted to have, like 50 miners hosted somewhere. And that's when I created Ace Miners Pro, which is a separate entity from Ace Miners NFT. But essentially just focuses on being able to provide trustworthy services to members here in the US. And, we cater to people worldwide. I have a lot of customers from Australia, from the UK, so a little bit all over the world. But I started here locally in Northern Virginia, and was able to really build that clientele. And from there on, we came up with the concept of Ace Miners NFT. So they don't necessarily tie in together, but we do provide the hosting, and we actually purchased our own crypto pod, which is where we're hosting these miners for our clients.
Yeah, and do you want to touch a little bit up on what that is? Because I honestly, and I know I mentioned this, I did not realize that pods were something specific for miners, and kind of how I didn't even realize that that was like a common thing to do. I'm not extremely well versed on the whole mining scene, so yeah, if you want to touch up a little bit on that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. So basically, what a CryptoPod is think of sort of like a shipping container, one of those big 4 foot shipping containers that you convert into a pod. So I don't know if you're familiar with Bitmain's container, but if you look online, Bitmain has a similar kind of concept, which all we do is we have ventilation in the back of our pod, and it's almost kind of like a plug and play. So we've got all the electrical wires in, and you just put your miner, plug it in, hook it up to Ethernet, and then it's up and running. So it's essentially just a big shipping container that we've converted to be able to allow ventilation and to have our miners run efficiently. And this works out really well because, like you said, you brought up regulations. If there were to be some sort of regulations down the road, this is something that can be transported to a different state. And so that's why we initially decided to go with the pod rather than a warehouse. And also, with the warehouse, you've got to look into air conditioners and things like that. With the pod, it's a lot more efficient to have these miners running in there, just because of the ventilation, rather than just setting up, a warehouse filled with AC units and not enough ventilation. So this actually works out a lot better. And a lot of the manufacturers are coming up with containers with crypto pods as opposed to, setting them up in warehouses. So this is actually the future of mining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like Zara said, it's a custom fitted shipping container, 40-foot shipping container that's
Mhm.
been custom fitted with exhaust fans all over it so that we can pull the hot air out. So essentially, we won't be needing an air conditioner. You just get the hot air out using those exhaust fans.
That's very interesting. I assume you save a lot of money on power actually because of that, huh?
Yeah, so we don't have to worry about air conditioner, even though it's been a little hot
Mhm.
recently. We still been performing pretty well. For the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks has been we've had 24/7 uptime, even though it's over 110 degrees.
Yeah. Is the heat in those pods like what's an average temperature during the day, I guess, in summer?
Oh, inside? Oh, inside it gets hot. In the summer, it can go up to like 120,
Okay.
120 degrees, 125. In the winter,
Mhm.
it's cool.
Hmm.
Gotcha. So do you notice like extremely different numbers as far as performance goes from summer to winter?
No, number wise is they're the same. So Bitmain, they have a safety setting on them that if it reaches over 80 degrees Celsius, it stops hashing.
Okay.
But when it's warmer and it's hotter, they just make more noise. That's all.
Okay.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't reduce the hash rate or anything. It just makes a
Mhm.
lot more noise.
Okay. So you're not getting up to those dangerous points where damage would be done to the miners. Very interesting though. It sounds
Yeah.
Hmm.
very efficient.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
actually specifically chose Bitmain because of that feature. Bitmain is very good with the quality of the miners.
mhm.
And so is Gold Shell. These two are very good because they have the automatic sensors. So we definitely wanted to choose something that's more sturdy.
Yeah, very interesting. I
Mm.
really liked like the kind of analytical thought that went into it seems like all the decisions that you guys have been making. And I kind of branching from that, I want to go into because you guys have a very interesting type of miner that you're using. I believe you just are. I saw in your Discord that you were talking about using the newest version so that you don't have to
Mhm.
upgrade in the future. And I know you're mining Litecoin and Cadena. Do you want to touch up a little bit on why those two specifically? And if anything else is a possibility in the future?
Sure. So yeah, so we went with initially we went with Litecoin. Bitmain had released I think in November the Bitmain L7 at miner,
Hmm.
and during a bull it was very profitable. It was making about $140 a day. Each miner was, and then so we're planning to get about right now we have 4 running for phase one. We're we're thinking about getting with the mint funds that we're going to get from phase two. We'll be getting an additional I think about maybe 15 L7s, depending on how much we'll be able to afford. And then we gave our community a vote in terms of diversifying to Cadena. So we can mine both Cadena and Litecoin. With Cadena, there's a lot more potential as it's still in very early stages. So, for example, Cadena back a few months back, one Cadena was worth about $30. So a Cadena miner, a KD Max, was making about $500 a day. So the
Mhm.
potential is there. Litecoin is more solid, more steady. It's not going to
Hmm.
fluctuate as much as Cadena, but the potential for Cadena is there.
Mhm. Yeah, we
Yeah.
wanted to diversify and give that vote to our community. And so they were interested in having us add Kadena in it. But initially, we were just more focused on Litecoin because it's lower risk. It's been around for over a decade. These are the miners that we actually started with ourselves. So we wanted to offer our community something that we personally have experience with. So the L3 miners that we mentioned in the beginning, those are Litecoin miners as well with the script algorithm. We specifically chose the L7 because it's the latest algorithm within this model. And so there isn't a lot of competition out there. Bitmain is the only one that makes the script algorithm. And so, it puts us in a much better position because there aren't too many out there that are being manufactured. And so the difficulty is lower. With Kadena, it does give us an additional advantage because it does have the potential to grow. It's in the infancy stages right now, but the potential is really there. So we're very bullish on Kadena as well. So we wanted to kind of diversify to mitigate our risk and to be able to offer something stable, such as Litecoin to our community, but also something like Kadena that has a lot of potential to grow.
Very interesting. And Kind of branching from that, do you guys see ever in the future being able to move into something aside from those two?
We are open to that, absolutely, Chris. We've had a couple of people bring that up to us. They like our concept of diversifying, since most of the other projects that you see out there with the similar kind of utility, they're either just mining Kadena. We haven't seen anybody else that mines Litecoin, so it's very unique for us to diversify. So we are open to other coins as well down the road. And we're the type of people that are constantly looking for the next best miner.
Hmm.
And so if something is out there on the market that we're, seeing has a lot of potential, then we would certainly be able to bring it to our community and have them decide.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I mean, I have a bunch of questions actually, like just of personal
Yeah.
interest with what you guys are doing. But kind of branching off of that, and I know that you have your first like almost like the first gen NFT series that you guys had released beforehand. Um,
Mhm.
and then I've seen on your second page, is this going to be the last NFT series you guys are minting, or is that a misinterpretation based on what I saw? Because I wasn't 100% sure if that was what was meant, or if I may have
Uh-huh.
misread that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, this is actually it is the final phase, Chris, because we have already released the first phase. We're
Hmm.
releasing the last 1,500, so our collection is only a 2,000 supply, which is an exclusive supply. We did want to keep that smaller community in place so that we can, listen to their concerns and be able to kind of grow and build that sense of community. And so, which is why we wanted to stop at that 2,000 supply. So it's a lot smaller than the other projects that you see out there with the
Hmm.
10,000 supply. And, this was intentional just because we wanted to keep that, sense of community and get to know everybody on a personal level.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And it was very interesting to me because I was like, there's huge potential here. I wonder why they're not. So kind of with
Yeah.
that, are you guys, I know you guys are keeping a portion of the revenue to continue to expand.
Hmm.
Is what is that portion looking like, and how are not, I mean, not tokenomics because you guys don't have a token necessarily, but like
Yeah.
what is the spread as far as percentages go and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, no, so that's a great question, Chris. What we're doing is we're working with our developer right now to create a DAO, which is going to give a vote to our holders. And we're also creating a payout system, which will enable the member to log in, verify ownership of the NFT, be able to either claim the rewards or stake those rewards. So that'll be an option, um, you know, for each member to be able to stake that. And if they,
Hmm.
let's say they want to forego their rewards, then that portion will get reapplied towards further expanding the farm. But from my understanding, a lot of the members just kind of want to get their profits, get their airdrops. So they'll be able to claim those rewards directly from that portal. But we are creating a DAO which will be able to give these votes to our community. And the more NFTs you hold, the more voting power you have.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, essentially we'll be giving them a choice of how much percentage from the rewards they'll want to stake as a group. For example, right now we're dedicating 75% of the mining rewards that will go back as payouts.
Hmm.
10% of those monthly rewards will go to the creator's wallet, and 15% of that will go into hosting, maintenance, different, like we need to purchase power distribution units or things like that. But from that 75%, we will give our community a vote through a DAO to be able to choose how much of that 75% they would like staked.
Gotcha. And I guess with all that, is there any concern as far as the long term thought behind these NFTs? Because I mean, obviously, miners in general have limited amount of life. Is there any thought as to what the plan would be down the line? I know it's several years in the future, but just a random question that
Mhm.
popped into my head.
Yeah, of course. So we specifically chose the latest algorithm miners, Chris, on the market just so that we could have them for quite a long time. And so, from our experience with Bitmain, since we were able to get those L3s, they didn't actually come out with the newer algorithm for about 5 years. And so, this gives us a good 5 to 7 years lifespan on the L7s that we currently have. And so after that, we'll be able to revisit, and then we can also, post votes and things like that through our DAO for our community to see if they're going to want us to reinvest into some of the latest miners at that point. But so far, we've been able to choose this specific miner just because it gives us that time frame of 5 to 7 years lifespan, and so which is why we specifically chose this one.
Gotcha. Okay. So kind of to like TBD on the whole situation in 5 to 7 years.
Right, exactly. And we'll be able to kind of decide then based off of the funds and the percentage that are being staked. And so with that money, we could certainly reinvest that to get, the latest miners then.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, would there be any extra benefit to staking? Because I could see some kind of issue if like it's that whole situation where if you have everyone kind of benefiting from everyone's staking, if half of people did stake, the other half didn't, would everyone be getting equal rewards on where that money was invested into?
Yeah, the ones that are staking would be able to participate with the expansion because they're staking the
Okay.
rewards. The ones that just want to go ahead and receive their quarterly rewards, those would just get the rewards from mining, so they wouldn't be participating with the expansion. So it's
Gotcha.
just those that are interested in staking.
Okay.
Yeah, unless
Perfect.
the whole community votes to have a group stake, like a percentage from those rewards that all of them forego that go into building the farm and expanding it.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha, makes sense, and that I think that's probably the best way you guys could have run it if it's not a complete unanimous group vote, or not everyone is
Yes.
putting money into it. So that was the one concern that I was like, huh, I wonder how this will be working, but definitely
Yeah.
makes sense.
It
Yeah,
has to be, what we've decided is it's going to be sort of like a middle path. So, like a percentage instead of staking the entire reward, let's say. They would still be able to receive their quarterly rewards, and then the small percentage would go towards the expansion. So, I think that's kind of like a fair medium where everyone would be able to participate in the expansion.
yeah. Well, perfect.
Hmm.
I have some questions from the audience now. If you guys think we're ready to get into that, unless you wanted to touch up on something else beforehand.
Sure, go.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Awesome. So firstly, I got you have these pods that you're essentially doing these farms in. What are the costs as far as electricity, staff, insurance, security per month? And is it on your own land? Is it accessible 24/7 in case of emergency, etc.?
Yeah, so we have a team on site because the pod is in Washington State. We do visit it every now and then. We have remote access to it with cameras for security purposes. We also have remote access to the physical miners themselves to be able to remote in, change settings, troubleshoot if needed, and things like that. Yeah, go ahead, Zara.
There's security as well, just to mention. There's security cameras right outside of the pod, so we're constantly, having access to that remotely. And these pods, we've purchased them ourselves. So we've purchased the pod, the shipping container, and we've hired a designer to be able to convert it into a crypto pod specifically. So these belong to us.
Gotcha. Well, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know you guys mentioned that you had some deals as far as electricity and things like that the common person wouldn't be able to access very easily. And that's I think a lot of the utility that you guys bring is the ease of access to being able to do, because it's not efficient to do, just have one miner running. It's far more efficient, like to do something similar to what you guys are doing. Do you want to touch up on that real quick?
Sure. So in terms of the electric, so we have one of the main benefits we have is we have the price is set in for 2 years. So the electric cost is not going to go up, especially with the recent inflation and cost increase everywhere. So we have that set cost of 0.085 kilowatt per hour. So that cost is not going to go up for the next few years.
Yeah,
And
that's
also, I just want
sorry,
to.
go on.
No, sorry, Chris. I just also want to mention that it's fully hydro-powered. We didn't actually advertise this enough, but it's very eco-friendly. So this kind of, limits our carbon footprint. So it's fully hydro-powered facility that we have.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very interesting because that's almost becoming like a very hot topic now, like whether things are,
Yes.
especially mining rigs are hydropowered. So that's very cool, actually. I didn't realize that until until you just brought that up.
Yeah, we do have to do a better job at advertising that, but it's, yeah, fully hydro-powered.
Awesome. And then another question: you do also sell miners. Does the revenue out of it go at all? Is it associated all with the project, um, or are all the funds from the NFT sales?
Yeah, so they're actually two separate entities. So the company Ace Miners Pro is completely separate from Ace Miners NFTs, and we've had to kind of differentiate between the two, so they're not tied together. So the funds from the NFTs are going towards the NFT project completely.
Mhm.
So that kind of prevents us from mixing the two businesses.
Yes, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is the a very specific question, because I know you guys have brought up the differences in efficiency, whether you're talking the monthly ROI on your miner for your Litecoin miner versus a Cadena. What would be the estimate if you were to break it down as far as NFT goes with the current spread of Cadena and Litecoin miners? What would be the estimated ROI on an NFT? How much in as far as a quarterly payout for a bear/bull market? I know that's kind of tough because the prices are constantly changing. But if you had to give an average for the past couple months versus uh, last year when we were in the bull market.
Yes. So what we did is we went back um, in 2021 and we did what would each NFT would have made back in 2021, because we can't really foresee the future. So in 2021, it would have taken, if you had mined the whole month and then sold your earnings every quarter, that's when the payouts are due. The ROI would have been about a year. So
Okay.
but then if you hold those coins and wait until a bull and sell all of those coins in a bull, the ROI is about 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
So it totally depends on the market and also the mining difficulty. So the mining difficulty is essentially if some crypto miners end up turning off their miners, so that difficulty decreases and you're earning more Litecoins per day. So we gotta wait for the crypto, for the market prices, and we rely on the difficulty of mining as well. So I'd say 4 to 6 months in a bull, or an average it'll be about 12 months.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and we always recommend our holders to wait for that bull market. So we always recommend for them to hold on to that Litecoin or Cadena and then not sell or convert it until a bull market, because that's the strategy that we have personally used, and that has worked really well for us. And that has enabled us to, get our ROI down to 4 months, 4 to 6 months. And so that's our recommendation to our members.
Yes, definitely. Definitely the smarter option. I would never recommend trying to
Absolutely.
time it, but even if you're just waiting for a general uptrend and starting to slowly sell off, dollar cost average the sells as well. I like it.
Absolutely. Yep, exactly.
The next thing, is there any point where you guys would say, uh, that's it, no expansion, and like no more expansion, we're just gonna stay at this level? Is there any manageable point, I guess, where you guys would be done as far as expansion to new miners or anything as far as that goes?
No, we actually are looking to always expand. So for from our own personal experience, we've been able to take our profits and reinvest them constantly. And so we want to be able to do the same for this project and for our members. So as long as they want to continue expanding, we want to be there to cater to them. So essentially, we're just managing the farm for them. They have ownership of that hash rate power. So they're in control over that. So we'd be happy to further expand if they choose. And the community wants to continue expanding, so we want to be there to offer that. Absolutely.
But let me just throw this out there. Ace Miners NFT will have a supply of 2,000 NFTs. So if you want one, you better get in next phase. We're not going to release some more after that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I meant expanding with the community that we already
Right.
have, you know, like
Yes.
with staking and things like that.
Yep.
Yes. Not with the supply.
100%. I follow, but it's a good clarification to
Mhm.
make just in case anyone didn't hear the earlier discussion. Um,
Right.
the next bit, are you planning at all? I'm sorry, this question was already answered. What are the biggest obstacles you have both faced while building and launching your project?
That's a great question. I mean, my biggest obstacle personally was really finding an electrical company that has locked in rates. Because a lot of the facilities they'll give you a really reasonable rate, and after 2 months they'll increase it. So that has been a really big problem for us. And finding the right state to have this pod running in. So we were grateful enough to have a really good team on site that is managing everything. So that was kind of hard for us to really come across a great team of IT professionals, as well as having enough security cameras on site and things like that. The other thing I would say, the legal aspect of it is also challenging, having the proper legal team that has the experience. So we've had to kind of hold multiple different consultations with different legal teams. And so thankfully, we have found one with the experience and knowledge that we were looking for.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest pieces, honestly. Would you mind touching up on anything that you're allowed to discuss as far as, how you're navigating the whole legal space? Because I know there are definitely going to be issues with a lot of these NFT projects that are, coming out with people personally handling funds when, NFTs looked at as a security, whether it's uh because of promise of profit or, other issues with the Howey test. Is there
Mm-hmm.
anything in there that you're
Right.
allowed to discuss as far as, how you guys are planning to navigate those waters?
Yeah, sure. So the biggest thing is that we are offering NFTs that are tied to ownership of hash rate power. So essentially, we dedicate a hash rate per NFT, and that's what classifies us as a utility token, and not a security token, because you actually have ownership of that hash rate. And so we're not dedicating a percentage or anything like that. And so our legal team has specifically instructed us to do that as well. And that has really helped us, kind of stay away from any issues related to regulations. I mean, it's still a great area, but definitely having tangible ownership of that hash rate power is what classifies us under a utility token, because that hash rate power then converts into rewards. It's not, converted into a percentage. It's not, profit sharing or anything like that. It's think of it as kind of like cloud mining with, an NFT. So we are providing cloud mining, but to have access to that, you have to have that NFT to grant you ownership of that.
Gotcha. Very interesting way of kind of navigating that. I know it's hard because all the regulations are so new, and it seems like kind of I touched up on before. Um, everything is about 50 years behind, and it doesn't help that the regulators are oftentimes extremely not educated on the subjects that they're trying to regulate. So it's definitely a tough
Exactly.
space to manage. And then, one random day everything turns to it does a complete flip, on
Mhm.
its head, and
Right.
all the laws are changed. It doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
definitely I'm glad that you guys have put some thought into that.
Absolutely, Chris. Yep.
Um if if there was, do you guys do any kind of, and this is a kind of random question, but do you guys do any kind of individual miner hosting, like basically renting a space in your pod for a group of miners, or something like that?
hmm Yeah, so I actually offer that service to our customers who are interested in hosting. And oftentimes, some of the newer customers just want to host locally to have it running in their basement or anything like that. And then eventually they realize, hey, this is too loud. So they send it over to us and we can host it for them. So we certainly have that option. We are almost at maximum capacity right now just because we have to have room for our community's miners. And so, we definitely take that into consideration. So at this time, we won't have any more spots available for hosting until probably the end of September. But it's definitely a service that we've offered our customers.
Gotcha. Very interesting. And I think that's really important too. You guys are making it extremely accessible, which is really that there's a huge barrier to entry as far as mining goes. And some of it's the knowledge. And then the other piece is just, even if you have that knowledge, either you purchase the miner before you figured out that, it's not convenient to have it in your house, or you end up, not being able to even purchase it because the cost, or, you know, understanding
Mhm.
how to set it up. So that's really awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And yeah, the residential power is quite expensive. I mean, most places you're looking at about 12 cents. And so that cuts into your mined coins, mined profit. And so it definitely makes a huge difference to be able to host at a facility where you're getting much lower electrical rates. So it definitely makes a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate all the different thoughts into that you guys have taken into both helping the community out with through different avenues, and also the very detailed specifics you guys have gotten into. I know you guys have received a lot of or have gotten a lot of experience in the past just because of everything you've been doing for such a long time. So it's really cool to
Mhm.
learn from this side, because I've never experienced a lot of the mining piece until the past month or two, actually starting to dig into it. But really cool.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. It comes from that hands-on experience that we've had to do the dirty work ourselves.
Yeah, for real. And I can totally understand that there's a huge learning curve, and so uh, you guys are opening up these opportunities to a lot of people. I guess kind of branching off of all these different things, AJ, would you mind touching up on kind of your background as far as mining goes and that kind of thing? Because I know you were doing a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're doing a lot of the IT side of maintaining the miners, correct?
Yes, I do the maintenance, firmware updates. I do the same thing for customers when they purchase miners from Ace Miners Pro. I
Hmm.
do remote sessions, or sometimes even if it's local travel to customers. I have a bunch of customers locally in the DC area. Once they receive the miners, I do the whole setup from scratch. Put them on the network, assign them IP address, put them on the right pool so that they can mine the correct coin.
Hmm.
So yeah, we also offer remote assistance. So let's say we ship a miner to somebody in Texas. I do remote login, start a session, and do all setup remotely. So this ties into what I've been doing for the past 15 years. So it's right down my alley.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the fact that you guys are very willing to help the community out as well, whether people are hosting individually or working with you guys through, the Ace Miners Pro or your NFT collection that you guys are starting up. Um, I have another question relating to the NFTs though. So I know you guys had the first 500 and you have 1,500 coming out soon. And I believe you'd mentioned that of of the 1,500, the whitelists are only being given to people that have invested in the first 500, right? Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Are the first 500 NFTs, are they already set with their specific miners, or will they all be in one group? As far
So
as
they're
everyone.
all Yeah, they'll all be one. For example, we have 8 miners total for phase one.
Hmm.
So once we get enough funds for phase two, we'll be able to purchase at least a total when you combine both. So we'll get 30 miners for phase two and combine them to the 8 miners for phase one that we have. So that's 38 total
Hmm.
miners. And the rewards from all those will be shared between each NFT.
Gotcha.
So it's
Okay.
one group, yeah, of both. It's not separate. But right now we're mining for phase one because we don't want to let phase one holders just wait until phase two mints out.
Uh-huh.
So that's exactly
Mhm.
what we're doing. We're mining the rewards for them that will airdrop before we start mining for phase two and phase one combined.
Gotcha. And I'm sorry, Zara,
Mhm.
were you gonna say something?
Yeah, we wanted to start off immediately. So as soon as we started minting for phase one, we actually used the mint funds to purchase the miners. So we started accumulating them right away. And that's why it may seem like it's a separate thing, but we just wanted to get a head start for our phase
Mhm.
one holders to start generating rewards for them, which is why, we've already gotten the 8 miners for them, and then we're getting the rest, which is going to be 38 up to 40, depending on the market and what the prices are of the
Mhm.
miners that we can get for them. So then, as AJ mentioned, it's going to be one whole set, so they'll be able to all get the equivalent amount of rewards.
Gotcha. Okay, I really like that the process that you guys have kind of started. With
Mhm.
the whole fact that you guys are um getting this started, do you have a set date yet, or are you going to wait for all 1,500 to be minted before new miners are purchased and set up?
So I think our members appreciate the fact that we just take the funds as soon as they come in and we purchase miners right away. I think they like the fact that they can generate rewards sooner. So I think we'll just continue doing that same concept that we did initially. So as soon as we have enough for a few miners, then we'll just purchase those and keep on going. That way we don't have to wait until the 1,500 sell out,
Hmm.
and we can start generating rewards earlier.
Awesome. And then also in addition to that, do you guys have a set date just yet as far as your release and the whole minting function for your NFTs?
Yeah, we actually announced that the phase two will mint for the public on Sunday. So this coming Sunday, the 21st of
Yep.
August, we'll have the whitelist going on Saturday.
Mhm.
Super exciting
Mhm.
stuff. So
Yep.
Sunday, if you guys are in here, Sunday will be the open minting, I believe, correct? Open to the
Yes, for the
public.
public.
Awesome.
Yes.
So if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a link to your website when we're done here, that would be wonderful. Or Zach, if you wouldn't mind dropping it in the AMA questions chat, just so that people can pull it up. Will it be minted through your website?
Yes,
Yes.
a link on our website. Yep.
Okay, awesome. I'm super excited for that because it's one of those free opportunities I think that communities are getting a chance, an early access chance to invest into these NFT projects. So I'm excited. I'm excited. We've had a couple so far,
Mhm.
like Hydro Whales, like Wolfer, but I'm very excited
Mhm.
for the Ace Miners NFT collection to be completely released.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. And yeah, we've met with Hydro Whales and a couple of
Hmm.
other projects, and it's really great to be able to see more utility driven NFTs. And in
Hmm.
my opinion, this is going to be the future.
Yeah, 100%. Is there
Mhm.
anything that that you guys really wanted to touch up on as far as anything new coming, whether it be the staking or timelines for things? I'd love to hear it.
So yeah, so we have a new dev that we're working with. We're trying to release a timeline, an exact timeline, because right now the airdrops are done quarterly. So we're
Hmm.
working with our dev to see if we can make those happen faster, sooner, maybe on a monthly basis. So we're working on that. We're working on also the staking option. Also, we have a mining dashboard that's being set up that once on our website, once the holders can go into the website, they can connect their wallet and they'll be able to see live statistics and hash rates of how much the miners are generating and how much is in each wallet, the community wallet, the Cardinal wallet, and the Litecoin
Hmm.
wallets. So they have a live view of all that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really cool. Are you guys planning on airdropping in both Litecoin and Kadena / whatever extra coins or tokens you eventually move to?
Yes. So we're right now, since Litecoin is more widely available than Cadena, Cadena is not that available yet. So
Hmm.
we're going to convert the Cadena coins into Litecoin and send Litecoin as a reward.
Gotcha. So every quarter it'll be sent in Litecoin. Do you plan on transfer I guess do you plan on at the end of the quarter being that point when you trade all the Kadena to Litecoin? Or would there be like every month / every week be more of
Yeah,
that?
we're going to keep mining Cadena until we're about to airdrop it. Then we'll convert it to Litecoin and send that to the holders. And then once the holders receive it, they can convert it back to Cadena or whichever coin that they prefer.
Yeah. Perfect. So you're not really
So it
losing out
doesn't.
on any. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, they're not losing on any value during conversion. So once they receive the Litecoin, they can go on the market again and then just exchange it to a different coin.
Yeah, I think that's really important because I do believe that a lot of people forget that it doesn't matter if you're being paid, if it's been converted right before you get that airdrop, it's not going to affect the total amount there at all as far as the USD conversion. Um,
Right. Yep. Exactly.
but yeah, I'm super excited. Everything I hear, every time I hear you guys speak, I'm like, it just gets me a little bit more hyped up for your guys' pre-sale, or not pre-sale, but your launch. So super excited to see what you guys start to bring up.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, thank you so much for that, Chris. Absolutely. It's very exciting for us as well because we're such an exclusive group, and
Mm-hmm.
to be able to release all 1,500 at once is really exciting. So we want to be able to introduce mining to as many people as we can possibly reach, and this process has also helped us out because a lot of people are interested in having their own miner. So eventually they'll see that the rewards are pretty good and that mining is lucrative, and they'll want to have a miner just for themselves. And so, we're hoping to get more people introduced to mining through these NFTs.
Yes, yes, I love it. And would you guys mind releasing the price for minting your NFT?
So the mint price for our public will be $450 in ETH. So we'll do the conversion that morning. So we're going to keep the price as close to 450 as possible, especially with how volatile ETH has been
Mm-hmm.
recently.
Yes, for sure. So if you guys are looking for that, make sure you got ETH ready to go in your wallets. And do you know what time the mint will be live? I believe you said Sunday. For the
Sunday at
public.
noon Eastern time.
Okay.
We'll also have an option for credit card minting with a credit card via cross mint. So we'll have that on there as well. So if some members would like to use credit cards, they're welcome to. There's a fee that they have to pay gas fees, of course, and then there's a 3% credit card fee.
Gotcha. So that is also an option. I think that's one of probably the best pieces that you guys are bringing to it, is allowing that user friendliness in everything you're doing, and then allowing that with the credit card. It just makes sense. So I really love what you guys are doing. I'm sure we'll be in more talks to bring you guys on again as you start to develop your staking platform and everything else. But if there is anything at all that we haven't touched up on, let us know. Otherwise, I'll be posting your guys' Discord link in or if Zach, if you wouldn't mind doing that, throwing it in the AMA questions channel. So you guys can all join over there and get ready for this launch.
All right, exciting.
Very exciting. Thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time to ask us questions and for getting to know us. And I'm pretty sure, like you said, we'll touch base again. This is just the beginning of our project, so hopefully we'll be able to reconnect.
100%. I'm sure we'll be talking about that education center that we brought up, because you
Exactly.
guys have a wealth of information at your fingertips.
Absolutely. It's very much needed. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And everyone in here, remember, if you're part of the Cardinal crew, hop in our Discord chat and in our channel, and we'll give a quick rundown of everything that's going on with Ace Miners. But I will hopefully talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day, and I'm really glad we got to talk today.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
Chris.
guys.
Thanks for having us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of
We
course.
appreciate you.
Of course. Have a good one.
All right, thanks. You too.
Take care.